Welcome students. This video we're going to use the sweep tool, and we're actually going to use it two different ways to make two different parts in this video series. We're going to use it to do some subtractive 3D modeling that'll put this little profile on a fictitious jewelry box, and then we'll use it to do some additive 3D modeling where we make this kind of pipe looking paper clip type object just to give you some practice again with the sweep tool. So let's go ahead and we'll open up a new part file. Oops, not a new camera roll, but we'll open up a new part file. And we're going to do the additive one first. Okay, so again, the additive, that was this paper clip one. We're going to do that by creating two sketches that we can work off of. So this first step, super important. It's going to set you up for success. We want to click this XZ plane to get started on. Then we're going to draw a circle. This circle is going to represent the profile of our paper clip. And we're going to do this kind of small. So we're going to do the circle at 1/100th of an inch. All right, so just a tiny, tiny little circle on there. We're going to finish our sketch, and then I'm going to zoom in on that circle. And then what I'm going to do is come over here on my model bar to the origin, and I'm going to open up one of my two planes that intersect that circle I drew. So here I got my XZ plane. I can tell that's intersecting. So I'm going to right click and go new sketch. So now I'm sketching on this plane. Right? And remember, even though that plane looked really tiny, geometrically speaking, a plane goes on infinitely. So it had a real small boundary box, but that plane can be as big or as small as we want it. So now I'm going to go to my origin again, and this first line I'm going to draw is going to run perpendicular. You can kind of see the edge profile of that circle here running left to right. So this is going to run perpendicular to that circle I drew. And we'll do this like 0.07. All right. Now I'm going to click escape, and I'm going to come over and draw another line. So I'm inferencing off the top of this line, and I'm just going to come over, I don't know, about as far as that line was tall. I'm going to draw a horizontal line coming down. I'm sorry, that's a vertical line. Then I'm going to come over here. I want to line the bottom up with this next vertical, but I'm not going to quite come up to the top edge. And then I'll click escape to free me again. Whoops, don't do that. That might be the keyword for this video is whoops. All right. So I'm going to draw one more vertical line now. And again, I want to inference off the top of that third line I drew. And this time I'm going to come down and stop a little shy of the bottom. And so I'm going to click escape. Now I'm going to use the dimension tool. So I'm going to dimension the distance between these first two verticals here. And I want that to be, instead of 0.03, we'll go 0.02. And then I'm going to use the dimension tool, and I'll dimension the distance between these lines at the same as this first one. So I'm going to use that trick where I just click on my initial dimension to copy it into some other dialog boxes. And so again, I'm going to click that initial dimension to copy it over. So now I got these three lines on here. You can see they're kind of spaced out. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to use the arc tool. This might be a new one for you. And I'm going to use the arc tool by clicking the two ends of my arc. Then I'm going to come back and I kind of bend this up to create the arc I want. And what I want to do is bend it up till those two tangent constraints appear on the left and right side of my drawing. So I'll click that into place. I'm going to come down between these two lines now. I'm going to repeat that same process. I'll keep going up until it snaps to tangent. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to pick the second one from the left and the furthest one on the right. And I'm going to pull this line down until I get that little tangent symbol. And so then I'll click escape to free me from that arc tool. So you can see here I got one big kind of continuous coil looping, kind of like a paperclip shape on my sheet of paper. So we'll finish that sketch now for real. And then I'm going to go to the sweep tool. It already picked for my profile this circle here because that's the only closed profile. So I need to choose the path now and I want that path to be my sweeping line here. So as soon as I click on that, you can see it previews it for me. And that's all we need to do for this video. So as long as that worked out, we'll go ahead and click on OK. Save this additive one, right? And then we're going to go on and we'll make the subtractive sweep. So again, we're going to start a new part file for this. And we got to start off with the sketch. I'm going to sketch on the XZ plane again. Not quite as important for this one, but it'll still set you up so you can work along with me. I'm going to make a box that's 10 by 8 inches. We'll zoom extent so I can check that out. So again, there's my 10 by 8 inch box. Right, that's going to be the base for my jewelry box. Now I'm going to extrude it up 4 inches. I'll say okay, and then just so it doesn't look like a big slab of concrete, I'm going to go assign wood to it for a material. So we'll go with a walnut jewelry box. That's fancy. All right, so now I've already actually got a profile on here. And the last one I sketched, I sketched my profile first, then my path. This one I've got a path. I want to make it follow around the upper edge of this box. So now I need to go in and sketch my profile. So I'm going to go start 2D sketch, and just click on one of the ends of the box. And then to give it that profile I want, I'm going to draw a rectangle starting in one of the corners, and I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch, 0.5 by 0.5. We'll lock that in. Then I'm going to grab the circle tool, and I'm going to go to this inside lower corner here, and I'll make that the center point of my circle. And I'm going to pull out this circle so it's 3/4 of an inch in diameter, 0.75. Now I'm going to use the trim tool, and it's important that we trim a couple of things here. I'm just going to pick one of these corners from my rectangle and cut it away. Right? You can see this 1/2 inch is dimensioned here. This 1/2 inch is dimensioned to this end point. So I don't want to cut this section away. I want to leave that section there. Now I'm going to come get rid of the rest of my circle. So I got a straight line, an arc, a straight line, and then this extra little bit hanging down. I'm going to leave it there because it's just fine. So make sure your sketch looks like mine. We'll finish it up, and then we can use the sweep tool again. So I'm going to click on sweep. Again, it picks my profile because that's the only closed loop I've got. So I just need to give it a path. And I need to tell it I want to do a cut or a subtractive modeling method here. So I want it to follow down here, come around this corner, come around this corner, and come back to here. And so then when I click OK, it gives me that edge profile on there. So this is a little bit quicker. I mean, basically what we did is we just did an extrude through all, but we used one sketch and we projected it around corners onto 4 different planes to give us that swept looking detail. So a little quicker way to kind of quickly 3D model that router bit profile on some wooden projects that you might choose to model up in this class. So again, make sure you save this one as, maybe sweep tool, additive, or I'm sorry, this would be your additive. This was your subtractive, and I will tell you how to submit those in the assignment page. And if you got any questions, send me an email. I'd be glad to help you out further with this. If not, I look forward to seeing your finished product.